everybody, how are you? It's Casey and Rebecca. We're a couple minutes late. It's my fault. Rebecca, say hello.
Hi.
Hello. Let's make sure we're live. You never know. I took a minute there. Let's see. I still don't see it. Do you see it?
No, I'm getting there.
Let me see. It takes a couple times of refreshing. There we go. Okay.
Yep.
We're here. Let's check the sound.
Hi, Charlene.
Okay, my hair's so messy. I hate to look in there. At the end of the day, when you say, I put some lipstick on, How's everybody
Teresa
doing?
Lee is on. She said hi.
Hello, Miss Teresa Lee. I'm going to see if I can do what Rebecca said and keep the comments down the side. Yes. Hey, Luann, how are you? How was the skeleton class today? Debbie said it went well. The glow-in-the-dark skeleton class. That was just for you, I hope you have fun. Hi, Jill. How are you? Hope everybody's doing great. We're going to do some fun fall painting today. We are. I have Rebecca on the line.
Hey.
We were talking about it. Oh, sounds good. Yay. We were talking about that night that the policeman was at the studio, when someone stole our paintings, and one of our girls, I won't say who, like the policeman was very cute. He was young and cute, and our young girls liked him, and one of our girls was like, hey. So funny.
I remember popping on. Carla Weaver said hi, new member here. My first time watching you live.
Yay. Welcome, Carla. Make sure that you join our private group, too, if you're not in there already, okay? Rebecca, will you well, I can tag that, actually. Let me see. If you're not there, make sure you jump on over there and join the group, because I teach live in there every single week, full tutorials. So we're happy to have you with us, for sure. Oh, hi, ladies. How are you? Oh, Lisa, I'm so glad. I'm glad. Hi, Marlene. How are you? I heard you picked up your canvas. I'm actually filming that. I was thinking of you. So Marlene picked up a canvas for this one. I'm filming this for the group. We have so many that I'm filming. So far, 9 I'm filming in the group this month. Like 9. Some in, some pre-recorded. Hey, Linda, how are you? Hi, Lynn.
Leslie. Puppy in the background.
Oh, is that Bailey or Buddy? That's both of them. Hi, baby. I was telling Rebecca, they were trying to figure out if I was going to the studio or staying here. They weren't quite sure. Linda Baker. Yes, it's a surprise night. I was going to try to come on Friday, and I ran out of time. And so I thought I would come today. Hey, Jean, how are you? It's so nice to see everybody. Cindy Duffy, how are you? Hi, Connie. How are you doing? Kelly Stark, how are you doing? Hey, Tina, how are you? There's Miss Lois. How are you, Lois? Lois likes the bells, the new bells. I just did these yesterday.
They are cool.
Thank you. My son was like, it probably looked better with a little bit more of a dark background back here, but I've done so many with dark backgrounds lately that I thought and believe it or not, that's not gold in the background. That's yellow ochre. It's yellow ochre. So
I never guessed.
Yeah, how about that? I thought I'd throw that in. I thought it kind of goes with it, I'm glad, Luann. Hey, Donna, how are you? Good evening, Debbie. How are you doing? It's so nice to see all of you. Those bells are pretty. Thanks, Allison. How are you doing? Hey, Jean. How are you?
So I know this was a surprise live, but so what do you plan on working on today?
Okay, so I was thinking, I'm actually filming this tonight after our live, and it made me think, let me show some stuff, some fall things. So I was thinking pine cones. What I put pine cones in? I was thinking between these 2 paintings. I'm going to show you how to make easy pine cones with a filbert brush. I was going to show them how to make some easy ornaments, because the holidays will be here before you know it. It's like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yes, what Miss Rebecca mentioned about corn, that maybe you want to see how to make corn. So, some fall things, some Christmas things. I think we put all things fall, and I was going to do some Christmas things too. Pine cones are fall and Christmas, right? Yeah. I mean, are you guys over pumpkins? We did 1 million pumpkins, so I don't know. But
I'm personally good on pumpkins, but I'm not painting, so.
You've drawn a lot of pumpkins.
I have.
Oh, you have what you have. You have one arm and a sling. I'm so sorry. You're gonna do your best. I hope it's not your dominant arm. Oh, and Luann said no leaves tonight. She has a fear of leaves, but she does them well. The bells will be on my to-do list for sure. Yay. Kathy Cunningham. Listen, Eliza sent me the prize wheel from last week's Technique Tutorial Tuesday. And guess what? You're the winner, Kathy. I just looked at it a little bit ago. So I'm going to be posting this. You're going to get your $10.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Casey Cash. Yeah. So let me see. So you can see it. It comes up really fast. Wait, I always hold the wrong place. Now it's gone. But it shows you everybody that participates, like gets on and says hello. And our technique, now we call them full tutorial Tuesdays. They used to be technique Tuesdays. But gets into the prize wheel. It shows it so fast. Melinda, hey, how are you? Hi, Vicki. I'm so glad you like the bells. Pine cones are great for fall and Christmas. Okay, so we'll do that. Can't wait to start Christmas painting, Diane. I love Christmas painting. I love fall painting.
Yeah, it's your thing.
I know it is. I love it. And you know what? I think there's like 6 or 7 more paintings I want to paint this month. So I'm going to be a little bit of a lunatic. I even put them in my schedule for the studio already before I painted them, just so I know what I'm doing for December. So I'm like an organized, crazy person about calendars and everything. Huh, Rebecca? And notes.
Okay.
And, so this is
Somebody's got to know what's going on.
Yeah, somebody's got to know. So Mrs. Claus starts November 6th. So we have, what, a week and a half? Week and a half for this workshop. So all of our members, you get this for free. Everybody else, it's $10. And can you put in there how to sign up, Rebecca? Do you care?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then
for the Mrs. Claus workshop?
Yeah, for Mrs. Claus. And then Santa we did last year. He's still in the vault. So if you haven't done Santa, be sure to do Santa because he goes great with her. People said that she looks like me. Maybe because I didn't have anything to look at. Like I woke up with her in my head. Maybe it's because it's me when I'm older. I don't know. She looks better than I would. But anyways, my favorite thing about this, and don't feel intimidated about like painting a face because you can do it. We broke down Santa so well that they came out beautifully, like hundreds of pictures sent to us. What was I going to say? My favorite thing is the hat, though. I have to say, like, to find an easy way to break down that hat, I was really happy about. This is made with our dome brushes. You can do it with a rake brush, too, but the dome brush makes it much more fluffy. Like, looks like you can touch it. This literally is the simplest thing ever. You'll, like, be shocked. But, her face doesn't have as much dimension as Santa's did. I think she'll be easier than him. And the hair, like we can work on rake brush strokes. I put things in the group, like in our Mrs. Claus group, to start working on rake brush strokes and show people how to cut a rake brush also. That's in there. And I'm going to keep dropping videos in there until the workshop so we can, build our skill sets for that. Okay?
Okay.
See, Kathy said Mrs. Claus looks like me. See?
I think so too.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I need some red lipstick.
I know Julie had asked a couple of times if she orders the kit for Mrs. Claus, is that enough paint for Santa also? I did say, I don't know if she was able to see my comment. I said we can't guarantee it's enough paint for both because we only put what is needed, plus maybe a tiny bit extra for, because we don't measure exactly.
If you don't dry brush a lot, there's definitely extra. If you dry brush a lot like I do, then there's extra. Yeah. So to order the kits, I'm going to put up so tomorrow we're shipping out the last of the kits to get there in time for the workshop on November 6th. So if you, scan the QR code on there if you want a kit or if you want to draw on canvas, if you already have your own paints, then you can go on there. Okay. Is that long enough? I don't know. I don't know how long it takes to, you can always go back to it and screenshot it. By the way, if you are looking to paint you're not in the, say you're not in the membership. The membership gets all that for free, but if you're looking to paint both of them and you're going to spend $20, you can actually be in the membership for 30 days for $19. So you'll get our whole vault, which has like, we lost count. Once we passed 500 tutorials, we lost count. We have no idea. So we just say hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I know I have 1,700 videos altogether in there, but that includes a lot of other things as well. But there's a coupon code you can use, and it's right here. So if you are planning to spend $20 on this, you might as well, and then you can cancel it if that's all you want to paint. But here's all of our new paintings in here. I put it in there together. So you can see all the new ones so far that everyone's getting this month in the membership on top of what's in the vault. But if you use coupon code KCKHQ19 at kckhq.com, then you can get everything and just paint, you know, whatever gifts you want to, and all of that. Yeah. Do you want to put that in there, Rebecca? The code in the site in the thing, in the note? Yes, in the comments. I have no words. I told her I think I lost my words today. Go ahead.
Quick question for you.
Hi, Desi.
Yeah, did you see Desi's comment? I'm just going to read it to you.
Boot camp for Santa, not able to finish. Is there anywhere I can see the tutorial? It's not in my library. It's, Desi, it should be under boot camp. So that's where it is. So once a workshop is over within a week, we put it into the library. So anybody that purchases it or anybody that's in the membership, they have it. If you can't find it, email. I'm going to put our email address up there. Just email Miss Haley at info@kckhq.com and she can drop it in if it's not in there for some reason. Okay? But check the boot camps. Yep, the boot camps. Okay. All right. I have a canvas. I'm going to turn this to the side. Let's do it. Let's paint. Okay. You know, it's so funny. I just told my son, he just got back from being out of town for the weekend. And I just told my son, I was like, I think this is the first time I haven't had a ball cap on in weeks. My hair's still messed up.
No, I bought a cap.
You did?
I did at that music festival I went to because it was 100 degrees and I was dying and I was just soaking it in water.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's the cutest hat ever. So I'm like, I want to wear it all the time.
Oh, see? I go through phases of like, what's my favorite hat? Let's make sure I have some chalk here to draw some stuff. Yeah, I'll take, like, I got this new Nike hat when Katie was home, probably like three weeks ago. And because she needed some things, and I got this new Nike hat. Now I just wear that every day, even though I have like a whole bunch of hats. I don't know why. So let me get this backlight on. I'll go to my easel and I don't have anything sketched out yet. I was just, you know,
just winging it. I love it.
Yeah, off the cuff, you know. So what should we do first? Do you guys want to learn how to like paint a pine cone first? You want to?
I think that. Is there a pine cone in your bell painting?
There is. Let me show you.
Okay, yeah, I feel like that's good because then I can learn how to paint it.
Yay! Maybe you'll start painting again. I think like you work too much, so maybe we should paint again. So this was in my head. This thing was in my head for weeks, and I had 1 hour yesterday in between stuff. I went to the studio during the day, came home for an hour, and painted this and ran back over there. So I finally got it out of my head. But it's such a nice, fun, quick painting. You don't have to rush through it, of course. But I'll show you how to make, you know, very quick, loose pine cones like that are in here, okay? Believe it or not, this is much easier than you think to create. Much, much easier. Okay. It is, I'm telling you. So you want to so I talk about this all the time, you want to look at real things when you can. Like, get your own idea on it. Like, if you don't have it in front of you, Google it so you can look at. Don't Google someone else's painting. It's one thing to be inspired by someone else's painting, but look at look at pine cones. Pull up a whole bunch of pictures of them. Look at the colors of them. Look at the shapes of them and get your own thoughts on them. And you will be inspired that way. I tell our membership how I go from like one thing to another. Like, I like this color of this, but it showed it with this pine, and maybe I like this color, and then maybe I should add some of these little leaves in there. Like, it just kind of, you know, It grows from there. Your idea can. You know what I mean? Okay, let's see what colors. So I had my paint plates from yesterday from when I painted the bells. You know how I put way too much paint on my plate and I threw it in Ziploc bags. So we could use it. You can use them in Ziploc bags for like a week, guys. Like a week. It's crazy. Yeah. Okay, so I thought I pulled my filbert brush out. Here it is. Okay. So the filbert brush is the best brush to create pine cones with. Makes it the easiest, okay? So what you want to do is wet it and then dry it off on your paint towel, all right? This is in our brush pack that we have. We actually, all you ladies in the membership are going to be so excited. I have the giant delivery of the next batch of brushes, and we have single brushes that are going up on the site tomorrow. I know that you guys wanted singles of, like, we have a 10-pack, and then we have our dome brushes, but they wanted some singles to have extras of, and we have them. They came in. It's so exciting, Rebecca.
That's so exciting. Yeah.
I know. Rebecca, do you want to give away a prize before I start this? Because I ramble so much.
We're doing Casey Cash, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. All right. I've got Jill A. Baggett.
Ah, congratulations.
$5 in Casey Cash, and I will tag her below.
Yay. So when you win something, Rebecca's going to tag you, and you're going to send your email address and what you win. Well, we're going to just do Casey Cash tonight to keep it simple. And Jill, I believe you have the app. If you don't have the app, just scan the QR code. It's free. It'll take you to, if you have an Android or you have an Apple phone, it'll take you right to the app. And to download it for free, and then we drop the money in your account, and you can use it for brushes or painting kits or canvases or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna go back here. Okay, all right, so what I'm gonna do is I wet it and I dried it off on my paint towel. When I go and get water out of my cup, I always feel this is important to mention. I only put the tip of my brush in the water. I don't put the ferrule and up in the water unless I'm washing my brush, because this holds water, and a lot of the time I'm dry brushing, I don't want a lot of water in my paint. So I have some Van Eyck Brown here from yesterday, and I'm going to pull some off to the side. So sorry for the messiness. And I'm going to just get a little bit of paint. If you can see, it's a tiny bit of paint, okay? I'm going to, so say you're not working on a black canvas, because a lot of times we're not. And what you want to do is you're going to paint black behind where you're going to have the pine cone. It's going to be your easiest bet. So like I would sketch out the shape of the pine cone and I would paint it black, or a little bit of Van Dyke Brown with the black. All right. So what I would be doing when I'm painting a pine cone generally is you want to look at a pine cone. I should grab one because I have tons here. I like those smelly pine cones. Do you guys like them?
Oh, I love them.
Me too. Like cinnamon.
That's okay.
I love it. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to pull this down a bit. And what I'm doing in the beginning at the top is I'm using the skinny part of the brush, all right? I'm lightly putting it down, then I press, and then I pull off. Lightly putting it down, press, and pull off, okay? And so we're just getting those pieces sticking up there initially. I don't know why I tilted it that way, like a crazy person, all right? So then I'm gonna start making some of these, like, you have some that are facing you, all right? And then you have to press a little bit harder and pull off. Press and pull off. And you're kind of staggering these. Like you'll have some, like they're going to go up and down. So pine cones actually don't all have a perfect shape. Did you know that, Rebecca?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, so
well, I know there's like the little small fat ones and then like the tall skinny ones, but that's about it.
Some are really wonky. I feel like I should go get some. Do you want me to go get some real quick? Hold on. Give another prize away. Let me go grab some out of my library.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Next prize winner, we've got Carla Weaver. Carla Weaver with your $5 in Casey Cash. And I'm going to tag you below so you can register either for our app or it is also on our webpage. So yeah, let's see. And so don't worry about registering for all that stuff right now. You can do it whenever after this live, if that's easier. It'll just stay in your notifications. And Casey is just going to pick out some pine cones at the moment, so she can show you guys what she's about to paint here.
Okay, I grabbed some.
Oh, you're back?
Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Welcome back.
I felt like a blind person because like my library like burned out when I turned it on. I couldn't see anything. Okay, so like this one doesn't have a top. All right, but do you see how they're like not all perfectly in line, you know, and some are spread out more and some are closer together, like some are really fast, like, you know, they're all a little bit different. I just dropped one. Now these smaller ones are more like perfectly, you know, put together, closer together on the bottom. I'm dropping them everywhere, but look how wonky that is right there. So they're not all perfect. Okay. Let me see. I don't know where this little tiny pumpkin came from. Ooh, I like this red one. Look at that. But some of them are pretty wonky too. All right. I'm sure I'm gonna knock that over. You know. Okay. So you could also use like a little burnt sienna with it also. Okay. So I'm gonna get, it's just a little bit of paint. Does anybody have any questions so far, Rebecca? Are you still there, my friend?
Sorry, I forgot I was on mute. I just took a bite.
Oh, okay. So her husband's
somebody
grilling.
said they won a few weeks ago, like the Casey Cash,
Uh-huh.
but she doesn't use like the app on her phone.
You can use that on the desktop.
Right. So I tagged her in that, so that goes for everybody. They don't have to use the app.
Right.
There's also a desktop page. I will put that below.
Okay.
And Patty said she bought the brushes and invested in brush cleaner. It's so much better and easier to clean her brushes.
It is so true. I love the Masters brush cleaner. It's fantastic. So guys, as I'm going down, so I'm thinking like in my head, like I'm going to show you again. I'm going to pick one up. Like these are like edges like this when you're swooping back and forth, okay? They're like these edges here, all right? And you're giving the impression, like you can put that like little point up in there if you wanted to as well, you know? Don't use, the whole key is don't use a lot of paint. And then what we're gonna do, this is the base for this, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna build it up. My angle's just better this way, so I'm sorry that I had to turn it like sideways. I don't know why I tilted it.
No, you're fine. See?
Yeah. So then you can just like wipe these chalk lines out. But if you needed to like, you know, have a parameter to, you know, black something out to start. All right. So that's our base. But look how like so quick it starts coming together. Okay. So then you could take like maybe a little raw sienna. Sometimes I just use gold as my second, you know, color that I put on there, but I'm going to use my light brown with a little bit of white. Okay. Kind of tap it off because we don't want anything bright just yet on the tips. This is when you're using, look at the back of my brush. You're not using much paint at all. Like if I touch my hand, see how little paint. Look, my hand's clean, Rebecca. Let's shock her. I'm usually covered. I know. I'm usually covered in paint. So you want to leave a little bit of your darkness there, and we're just gonna touch around the top part this time, okay? And then leave that little bit towards the bottom. All right. Leave that little bit.
Are you using a wet brush?
Nope. It's pretty dry. It's pretty dry. Yep. See, it's pretty dry. So when I did start with my brush, I made sure it was dried off after I put it in the cup to loosen the bristles. So that's a great question. But yeah, it's so much easier to have a drier brush, then you're not moving around a whole bunch of paint, okay? Okay, so just a little. So you could do that with gold, and I can actually show you. You know what's the fantastic color for this is like a bronze gold, but bronze gold's very expensive.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. Let me see. I have no gold. My gold dried. There's the bronze gold right there. I'll use a little bit of that. Okay. So it's like, so if you don't have bronze gold, you can always like, and you like the shades of bronze gold, you can always, and it's a Lucas paint from Jerry's Artorama. You can always just put a little bit of Van Dyke Brown into your gold paint if you have a really metallic gold paint, and it works. Like you're okay with that. So then again, I'm just going to lightly touch this. I always have talks about using metallic colors as highlights because you don't want it to take over your painting. You just want to use a touch of it. So barely touch. But as you're, you're building this, I'll turn it back this way so it starts looking like a pine cone to you. And then I wipe off my brush. I don't get any water in it. I'm just going to get a little bit of white. And like I said, pine cones, like you can have all different shades in them. If I had the gold on this, it'd be a little bit warmer and it would have like that nutmeg color on the end. Okay. I do have to turn this. I have to have my angle right to work on these. Sorry about that.
But that's good because you can show everyone like it doesn't always have to be facing the correct way.
No.
You turn the canvas how it needs to work for you.
Yeah, so I do that often because I do have a spinal cord injury and I have to paint how I'm comfortable so I can always paint, and I don't want to be overstretching, my arm in order to paint, because it pulls on my back. So I'm always trying to make sure I'm comfortable. Some people are comfortable painting flat. Some people are comfortable holding their painting. So don't feel like you have to do anything, just like we do. Just want to make sure you're comfortable. And so, do you see how quickly that starts coming together? And then say you use too much paint, there's too much of everything. Let me see if I have black. Oh, all my black is dry on my plates from yesterday. I never put a ton of black on my paint, or on my plate, so that's why it's dry. Let me just add some water to that. So what you do is you would just go in between your pieces, and say you made them like too heavy, just touch the edges with the black, because when you have something that's brighter in the center and it's darker on the sides, it's going to appear round. And so that's why I'm not using the same amount of pressure from one end to the next. I have most of my pressure in the center, and then I take off my pressure as I go to the side, so it fades. So anything that's brighter is going to look closer to you. Anything that's darker is going to look like it recedes back. So you want to keep that in mind when you're painting, because it makes a huge difference. If you paint something all one shade, all the same amount of pressure, what's going to happen is your painting is going to look flat. It's not going to look three-dimensional. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
I'm a rambler. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay. So, and then I am going to get some gold so you can see how pretty gold looks on there. Let me grab some really quick. I always jump on, like, coming from doing something else, so sorry about that. I'm just going to take this paint out of these bags. So are you guys having a nice night? Did you have a nice weekend? Is it freezing by you now like it is here? It's gorgeous during the day.
It's freezing for us.
What'd you say?
It's definitely freezing for us.
I know. Like during the day, it's so beautiful out. And then at nighttime, it's like winter. Let me wash my brush a little. Don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think there was frost on the grass this morning.
There was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like nuts. Okay, so when you put the gold on, it's generally before the white, okay? You don't want to use it like heavy, but it's going to definitely make it look a little warmer. I usually don't use that bronze gold on here. I think that just gold looks better. But if you look, so a lot of painting, like painting techniques, has to do with like your pressure on your brush. So this is just very light. I'm lifting off my pressure too because I want a feathered mark. I don't want like a harsh mark on here. So I want a feathered mark on there. Very, very light. Just scuffing it, okay? Any questions? And then if you want...
Carolyn's on. She said hi.
Hi, Miss Carolyn. How are you doing this week? Everything going okay?
Luann said it's a perfect temperature for her.
You like this cold, Luann? I like it like for hot flashes. So
I just can't decide like if I want the heat on or off. Or
I know.
All day long. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
I know. So the other thing, guys, if you want to make it look more round, what you do is add a little bit more white to the ones in the center. Take your pressure off as you come to the sides. Barely touch the sides, but maybe a little bit brighter here. So then that would make your eye think that that was round, okay? I know we're like zoomed in, quite a bit, but if you just glanced at it, like, should grab some black. What was that? But if you just, this one's a little too bright for my liking right there. So what do we want to put with our pine cones, by the way? Oh, do you get
I don't know.
You tell me, what do you want? Let's put in, maybe, do you want to put some corn in, guys? Do you want some corn? Or do you want, I was going to do some greenery and some berries and a couple of leaves so you guys could like build the painting. Do you want me to do some greenery on here? And then we can add some berries and a couple ornaments. That was my original plan. Do you want to do that? Yeah?
I mean, I'm good with that.
You good with that? Are you guys good with that? I feel like I need to make a couple of pine cones though, not just one.
Yeah, like can you do a long skinny one?
Yeah, we can do a long skinny one. Okay, let's do that.
Those are the ones that I see a lot of, like the skinny
Really?
ones.
I never see the skinny ones.
They're
So this one,
it must be an Ohio thing.
it must be. So I'm gonna get burnt sienna. She's only like 45 minutes from us. Burnt sienna. We're like living in different worlds though. There's lots of stuff in my hair.
A very different world. So.
It does, I agree. Okay, so if we're gonna build stuff around this, let's put this way. So I'm not like, tilting it on you. You want a long skinny one, huh? Let's do like a burnt sienna one. All right. That is like a reddish brown one. And then we can build from there. Okay. All right. So burnt sienna right here, reddish brown. If you don't have it, you can always take a little bit of red and orange, touch of white, into your Van Dyke brown, okay? A little bit, all right? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go here, we'll start the top, and we're gonna go around to the sides, okay? And we're gonna start building from there, all right? So you just kind of wanna curve in, and then you wanna start in the middle, a little bit of pressure. This might be a little too bright, we'll see. We'll see. This one I picked up, I thought, oh, it's so cute when it's like this, burnt sienna color that was in my bowl. So these ones like that I'm pulling down like this, it's because some of those pine cones, like you're seeing it turned forward a little. Does that make sense? So you'll scuff this and then you can pull these down a little bit in here too, okay? Like they fold down just a little bit. I don't know.
Cindy, I live in the piney woods of East Texas. So many pine cones here. I never would have thought of pine cones in Texas.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. You know what we have a million of right now that I literally am rolling on when I walk the dogs, and it's why there's like a million.
Little acorns?
Yes, there's acorns everywhere.
Yeah, my dogs were eating those, trying to eat them today.
They eat them? No way.
Well, they have food. I don't know why.
That's so funny. My dogs go to the groomers tomorrow. They don't like us that day. But I sound like a nut. Like, we don't have close neighbors, but I walk around without my shoes on, which is, crazy person, trying to do that thing where you're walking so you're connected to the earth. I sound like a nut saying that. But anyways, every time they want to walk through all the acorns, I'm like, no, I'm not the acorns.
Yeah, I've never really seen a ton of them until I feel like this year they've just been everywhere.
That's what I feel like. I feel like they're everywhere. Does anybody have any questions about this yet?
I just forgot her name. She commented a little further up, but she said she did the harvest gnome and her corn did not turn out as good as yours. So I want some corn sometime on the slide if you got some time.
You're so funny. Listen, every time Rebecca and I do a live together, she almost makes me cry laughing. I can't look at her at all,
It's just me. I don't know what's so funny.
You're so funny. I think it's the looks you do. I really do.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, see, I think I hide, that stuff inside, but I really don't.
My mom calls me after the last live and she was like, that Rebecca's so funny. I'm like, I know. I feel like this is like a little empty in here. I might put another one just touching in there. And remember, so a lot of people when they first start painting something, they'll be like, my painting doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. Give it time. Trust the process. There's a method to the madness on how you build it. It doesn't look right away. Like right now, it's just one shade. It's gonna look, it's gonna look flat. So we just need to build it, okay? So I'm gonna get a little bit more white this time. Actually, I might even, let's get a little of our bronze gold because it's lighter than that. I just hit another color, a little bit. And let's touch this. Let's just a little bit. We're gonna highlight just a tiny bit towards the top and we're gonna lift off, all right? We still wanna give the impression that this like folds over. So we're just gonna lift off a little bit before the end of it, right here in the center. I'm using the smallest amount of paint, little. Okay, so I'm gonna go
Julie
here.
wanted to know if you have a conversion chart for other paints.
So what we have is we have color mixing charts. Well, not charts. We have lives, color mixing lives. Also, whenever it's a color that I think that most people don't have in our tutorials, like I'll be like, bronze gold, you mix Van Dyke brown and white, or Van Dyke brown and metallic gold with, or let's see, to create Arctic blue, you put, Viridian, which is teal, and white and sky blue together. So I have it written next to the supplies in the tutorials. And then we have like 3 color mixing videos. So those are in the vault under technique tutorials. If you have any trouble finding them, let us know. Because I think there's like, I don't even know how many technique tutorials there are. 800, something like that. Yeah, a gazillion. But if you ever struggle finding anything, just email us. There are searches in there, like you can just put in the keywords, you should be able to find it. But if you can't, let us know. We don't want you looking around all day when you want to paint. Okay.
Right.
All right. So then what I would do is wipe off my brush, get the tiniest amount of white. So the only thing that I see in the studio when people paint pine cones is they're using too much paint. It's so little paint. Look at that. Very, very little paint. It's the lightest touch. Don't touch hard. Don't touch hard. Marky used to always say with this when he's being funny, when people touched all this stuff, don't touch. So every time I say that, I think of that. Don't touch. I'm going to pull this down.
Which brush are you using again?
I'm using the filbert brush.
Quarter inch or half inch? Or does it matter?
This is a half inch, and it does matter on the size of the piece that you're working on. So if you want to, if you're working with a quarter inch, you are, it's going to take a lot more strokes to make your pine cone. So in our brush pack, if you have our brush pack, it's a half an inch in there. And by the way, I did get the larger rake brushes in too. I'll post those tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All the photos are done and everything. So it will go up tomorrow. Monday's a catch-up day.
Yes.
It definitely is. Okay, so that's the rake brush. So it's the filbert brush. It's a little bit round at the top. All right. So let's go to a rake brush. So let's build, unless we're going to put some corn in. Do you guys want corn? I don't know if it'll fit with this, but we can put, what do you think? We can have it laying back this way. Let's put some corn in. I see, because it's interesting. We're not really building a painting. We're just showing pieces. But it's interesting to see it come together, say that's where your kernels are, all right? And say, like, this is where your cob is, and that you have, your, what do you call? Listen, I picked corn the whole time growing up. Oh my gosh. Corn. This is the, whatchamacallit, the husk. Okay, so say we have that. Say like the ground goes back here further since we ran out of room. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, if you're on a white canvas, which is, do I have one of these? I have one here with corn. I have this. This one was done on a black canvas, and I'll show you one that was done on a white canvas, okay?
We're ready.
You're ready. Let's see. I have a whole bunch here. Like, because we taught this one painting in class like 50 times. And our members did it on members weekend too. So I brought them with me so I could touch up things and give them as gifts to people that like fall stuff. So there's more. That's on a white canvas, okay? So if you're on a white canvas, this background, what you're going to do is you're going to work with, you're going to paint the center of that where the corn is. I'm getting some black, sorry. You're going to paint that with black and a little bit of burnt sienna behind it, okay? And I do that whether I'm on the black canvas or the white canvas, really. Okay, so I'm going to put some black on my plate. Wait a second. I guess we can just use burnt sienna on here, not both. We don't need to use both. I'm losing it.
Whatever.
Yeah. So I have a 1/2 inch flat brush. Okay, 1/2 inch flat. If you use angle brushes, that's fine. I went through a thing where I used angle brushes for a long time too. I think for about 5 or 6 years I've been stuck on the flat brushes. So you want to wet it. You want to dry it off. All right. So for the corn, this is going to be behind the yellow. It's going to be peeking through, okay? So just peeking through. You're going to be shocked how this comes together, okay? But see the burnt sienna peeking through? We want it a little bit darker here, a little darker behind here, a little bit darker behind here. Again, making it brighter where you want it to look like it's coming out towards you, letting it get a little bit darker. And that's for the background behind the corn too, not just the corn, okay? So when I do this, I'll start in the center always, all right? And then I'm going to get a little bit more water, all right? A little bit of water. I will get a touch of black, all right? And then we'll take this, it's a little too much black.
Shirley said, I could watch you paint 24/7. It's so relaxing.
You're so nice, Shirley. Do you know what some of our ladies say? That they put me on to go to sleep. I'm like, so am I boring? I'm glad it's relaxing for you. It's the ladies that are our instructors for the studio. Is it Vicky? Who else? It wasn't Debbie. Who else said that? But I'm glad.
I don't know.
I forget. Okay, so I'm going to leave it a little bit darker, you know, on the side. So I'll grab a little bit of black with that. And you do the same if you're on a white canvas, okay? Same exact thing. All right, you just might have to pull a little bit more black in around the sides. I mean around, yeah. I can't talk. I told Rebecca, do you ever have those days where you have like no words? I have a day like that today.
All the time.
There's no words, yeah. I said, if I forget what I'm painting, remind me. Okay.
It's corn right now.
What'd you say? It's corn.
It's corn right now.
It's corn. It's corn. Okay, so the husk, I have no yellow because I wasn't planning on painting corn. Hold on 1 second. Now we have to get some yellow.
Yellow for corn.
Yellow for corn. So I'm just using like a cad yellow, not a lemon yellow. It's like a deeper yellow. Lemon yellow work. Cad yellow is a little bit better for the corn. Okay. When our paints come, like I have all the Lucas bottles here, but our creative inspirations that we use, they come in these big bottles. So I bring them home in these containers and use popsicle sticks to get them out. Okay, do I have sap green here? I do. Okay, so I'm going to take some sap green, still using the 1/2 inch flat brush, okay? This is a little bit sticky because it was from yesterday. So I'm going to put a little water in there, all right? A little bit of water. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow, tiny bit of yellow, all right? And then I'm going to get a little bit of white. Always tap your white off, okay? Because if you don't, you only get white, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to build this. So I'm going to start where it's the brightest, which is at the top with the skinniest part of my brush, all right? And I'm going to bring this around. And I'm going to kind of like make some lines here because, you know, you have that with the husk. If you look at a husk, this is why I'm always saying to like look at real things because then you'll see things like this. Like you'll see these little lines in the husk like that. And then we have, I'm going to go here. It'll get a little bit darker. Like on the underside of things, it always gets a little bit darker. Okay. I will be putting a little bit of gold, a little bit of yellow through there. Remember, when we start something, it's just the base. All right. You're always thinking like, what's furthest back? What's the darkest? I like to put brown in this also, because you'll see brown in the husk also. So right here is the round corn cob, okay, and a little bit of color back here, but not much. And then what we'll do
How do you make sap green again?
Sap green is just a dark green. So we generally just use the dark green. So that's sap green. We don't usually mix the green, yeah. So the dark green, but what? Oh, how do I mix like the colors I mix for this? I misunderstood. I'm sorry.
Well, Becky asked, "How do you make sap green again?" So.
Oh, okay. So
make it in the past, or
for this, well, generally we don't mix sap green. That's something any green that you have. So if you have a middle green, you can put black in it to make it sap green, but any dark green would work. But if you don't have dark green, add black to it to make it dark, okay? So I'm just putting some of these lines here. But what I did with this green, Becky, is I added a little bit of yellow to it as well, okay? You can have, like, I have in that other painting, like I have like a piece that's, coming out like this. Like you can have a wonky piece coming through like this. And I'm just using the skinny part of the brush. You might even have that curl just a little bit. And then we could add a little bit of white and a little bit of yellow to the tip of that. My angle's weird, so I'm going to go like here. And you always want to make things brighter where you think it's like facing the light, all right? And then I'll pull a couple of these lines in here with the yellow and the white. And I'll do that throughout too. But a lot of people, they'll look at a painting and they don't have the confidence and think that they can paint it. I promise you, you can paint every one of our paintings, even if you've never painted before. The steps get easier as you go, but you'll learn with every painting different tools, where after a few paintings you'll be like, I know how she built that. I know those techniques, it'll start coming together for you. Here, I'm going to put a little bit of white and yellow and make it a little bit brighter in this center. Light touch. Don't press hard, okay? Don't press hard. So you want it a little bit brighter up there. And down here, we're not going to add much brightness because it's on the underside, okay? And then also what I would do is I would get a little bit of brown and gold. Maybe you could use this bronze gold if you wanted to, but I would get like maybe a little bit of your Van Dyke brown or burnt sienna and get that in there also, because there's generally, some hints of that, even if it's fresh corn, I'll get some in there. And then I would put some gold. I'd put it on the sides here. And then I would also get some gold and add some gold to that. If you notice, I try not to, the gold I'll use as a highlight. So where I want it to look like it's coming up a little bit, I'll make that a little bit brighter. But what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought there, Rebecca. Don't cover everything with gold. Just use a tiny bit.
Okay. Sorry, I lost you too.
That's okay. You should say, sorry, I wasn't listening.
No, I mean, I kind of was, but I was reading. Desi asked, what about the corn silk?
The corn silk. So, like the little pieces. Yeah. So, I haven't been putting that in my corn. I need to look at it then. You think it'd be burned in my brain. I'm not kidding you. I pick corn every day of my life that my parents had it out there. So you would probably get a script liner. Let me bring it up. I don't think that's, Desi, I don't think that's something that I've ever painted is corn silk in the corn. But I think we'd have to get the actual corn in first. I ran out of room with these pine cones on my desk. Because we'd have to pull some of the corn silk out over the corn. So let me see here. I'm Googling. Yeah, so what you would do with that if you wanted to add that is like I thought. It's just like with I remember seeing it, but I actually want to see it up close right now. It's literally like, it's almost like hair, and you can do it with watered down white with the script liner. And I would make it like use middle green with white first, maybe a touch of yellow. You know, I have it like it's already it's already cleaned off. But you could pull that down with a script liner. For those of you that are not familiar with a script liner, let me show you a script liner. And so it has longer bristles. Okay, I'll wet it so you can see longer bristles, and you can flatten it down really nice. Okay, it gets like flat, flat, flat. And what you do with this brush when you're working with it is you just lightly drag and lift off, and you can make the finest, smallest marks on, on your painting with it. Like I'm going to show you, I'll be showing you how to, well, I'll just do it right now. But you can go and highlight. I always water it down, get some water. I smash it down. Okay. That's funny, Dizzy. I never even thought about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you kind of clean it off. And,
yeah. So we use this just to put some highlights on also. I'd probably have a couple more pieces in here, but I just want to get to the corn for you. And then but you can highlight the parts that you feel like would be a little bit brighter with this brush. So you would use this brush then, Desi, to make all of that. Like you would be making very fine lines, and it's not going to be in perfect order. You're going to want to look at how you want that to lay on stuff. But also when you create the painting, I don't actually think it's necessary unless you were doing it like where it's on, it's on the corn stalk, because generally when it is laid out with something, it does have that pulled off already. So it's just a thought. But you would just make just very fine lines like this. But I would start with like a little middle green with white, a little yellow with white, and you can just pull it through like this. Okay, does that help at all, Desi?
I think that helps.
Okay, all right.
I want to know, what's the phone number for notifications when you go live?
Oh, okay. Let me put it up here. Okay. This one has the one for members. So if you're a member, text the word member to this. But if you're not a member, text the word live to the same number. I meant to change that back. 724-995-0149. So if you're a member, text the word member, and you'll know every time I go live, because I paint with the membership, full tutorials every week. And then also on this page, if you want to know when we're going live, text the word live to that phone number. Okay. Before I put in the corn, it's such a fun process. Do you want to give another Case of Cash award? By the way, I didn't come up with a name. It was Rebecca. It kind of stuck though, huh, Rebecca?
It kind of just goes together.
It does go together. It's so funny. I have pine cones everywhere.
Becky Captain Campbell.
Congratulations, Becky. So just scan the QR code, okay, and then just sign up with your email address and your name, and then we'll drop that into your app account, okay?
Yes, I will be tagging you below.
She'll be tagging you. Okay. All right. Are you ready? This was so impromptu, like that I wrote Rebecca 15 minutes before we went live. I was like, hey, you want to go live? You're such a good sport. And your husband is grilling for you.
I didn't have to vacuum. So,
yeah, she said it got her out of vacuuming. I was going to scrub my floors today, and Chris said he'll do it tomorrow morning because it's too cold to be outside on his day off. So in the morning to work on the leaves. So I was like, I'll take it. Okay, so a little bit of your cad yellow and the white. Okay, what I want you to think about is they're going to be, the pieces of corn are going to be a little bit bigger. Let me put this down just a little bit. They're going to be a little bit bigger, and they're going to be a little bit brighter right in the center. As you go this way, they get smaller. As you come down here, they'll get a little smaller also. If you have it a little wonky, it's totally fine. I have some corn paintings, like we have a lot of paintings with corn because we have gnomes with corn, we have regular paintings with corn. There's a lot of corn, but some of these will color in like a burnt sienna color too. You know how sometimes there's the off color pieces of corn. Sometimes there's corn missing. One lady painted What's painting? Oh, the pumpkins painting, the pumpkins panel. One lady painted it like it was chewed up, like, you know, like animals got to it. It looked so cool.
Oh, that's cool. I want to see that.
Yeah, it was very cool. I think was that it? No, that was in the studio. That was a membership weekend, but it was one of the classes afterwards. So this brush, before I have paint on it, let me grab another one because I use these constantly. So if you don't have our brush pack, you're going to get just a small, like you're going to get a round brush. Let me see, did I grab another one so you can see it clean? Maybe not. Yeah. Okay. So what this is a small filbert brush. You know the little round brush that the filbert brush I was using for the pine cones? So this is a tiny version of that. I think this is like a 2 or 0. I don't know. I think it's a 2. And so this we use for dry brushing in small areas, also for shadowing and stuff. I love it a lot. But if you don't have this, just use a pointed round brush instead. All right. But this fits nicely for corn. All right. So I have my cad yellow and my white. I'm going to press. I'm going to pull off. Press, pull off. Press, pull off. And then you're going to let it get just a little bit smaller as we come down. We'll come back. Remember, it's the first coat. Don't worry. Don't stress. Those of you that have OCD, I know it'll bother you if your corn gets a little wonky, but never do I ever, like when I, did all the corn growing up, do you see like just a super perfect piece of corn? So
that's interesting. You started in like the middle.
Yes. The reason is because we want that to be brighter and we want that to look like it's coming closer to you.
Oh, yeah. Did you say that and I just missed it?
I did. It's okay. You're busy over there.
Awful listener.
It's okay. So right here, you know who tells me they're the worst listeners? All the teachers have to come to classes, that they teach high school or elementary, and they always say that they're the worst listeners. They tell me that they squirrel, I hear it all the time.
Probably just tune out kids all day and then
yeah, maybe that's why. So see
they come to you and they're like, we don't want to hear
it. See how that piece, oops, there's a little string there. See how that piece is a little wonky? You don't have to worry about that. We can go in with a little bit of black and burnt sienna at the end, and we can just cut that right there if that bothers you, which that will bother me a little bit. So I will. And this is pretty transparent initially as well, because yellow, especially on a darker background, is pretty transparent. I feel like I can fit another piece in there. There we go. All right. Even if it looks like, it's getting a little out of line, once it's all done, it looks really good. So don't worry. Everybody's will. There wasn't anybody's corn with all the corn we've made that looks bad. Nobody's. But it's kind of like how you just need to trust the process. Like you're worried to start, but just go at it. It'll come together, I promise.
That brush is perfect.
It is so perfect for corn, but I can't tell you how often I use this brush. It's pretty much in every painting, because at some point you're adding in like a small shadow somewhere, or something like that. And so it works perfectly. So I don't want anything really bright back here. So how I do that, since I still have to start back here, is a lighter touch, lighter touch, lighter touch, okay? Actually less white too. I feel like there's too much white right there. So less white in this area. But we're gonna go back and brighten other things, so we can always make this look a little darker by brightening other things as well. Okay, and then when we get back into this little tiny piece, just a little touch. Every single mark you're making is lifting off, lifting off, lifting off, okay? And you're gonna see it come to life really fast. Okay, lift off.
Diane said, LOL, there's some DNA on the painting.
There's what?
DNA on the painting.
TNA?
Yeah, like
oh, DNA! You did see it. You saw it. So we were just talking about that yesterday at the studio in class, and because Claudia says, Miss Claudia always says, and she's so proper. And when she says there's a little spit on every one of my paintings, and I was like, you think everybody online knows that I'm like, I'm using a little bit of spit. We were just talking about that. It's so funny. What were we working on yesterday? What was yesterday's painting? Oh, the snowman. And too funny when I always say that. Yeah, the little snow boy. He is called the little snow boy. We were trying to come up with a name for him, Okay, so what we're gonna do to make this look a little bit better, I feel like because we didn't have a lot of room, I'm gonna make these a little brighter here because I feel like they're recessing back too far because I had to make it skinny down there. So I'm gonna get a little bit, like it just makes it awkward.
If you have a quick second, could you share that number again for texting? I've had a few more people ask.
Yeah, sure. Here you go. There you go.
So text the word live.
Yes. So if you're a member of the membership, text the word member. But if you are not, then text the word live and we'll let you know when we're going on our public on this page.
Desi said, I got the lift off part, but what about starting the stroke?
Starting the stroke, you want to put your brush down pretty light, okay? So I'm going where I want it to be brighter, okay? So I want to put it down pretty light. Then when I'm positive, I'm going to press a little harder and then I'm going to pull off, okay? Like that. We'll come back and we'll add white to this after, all right? Here's another thing that's really important when you're painting is to make sure that you like lean back and take a look at your painting. Like when you're up close, especially on something like this, people with the corn actually in the class, and I believe online told me the same thing. Like they didn't realize how good it looked until they like stepped away from it. Or better yet, if you don't want to get up and step away from your painting, which I never like to do, and if you don't want to do that, then you can always look through your phone camera. And your phone camera is going to tell you what that looks like from, 4 feet away. Okay, so do you see how and that's without the white on it, it's starting to look like it's, it's round. And you can really start going quickly on this once you have your pieces in place, and then you know where it's supposed to be a little darker and where it's supposed to be a little bit brighter. Did I take that?
Oh, Cindy said, so paint brighter in the middle and lighter on the sides to make it look round.
Yes. So anything that's darker on the sides, even up through here, a little bit darker there, that's going to make it look like it goes back further. So bright things look like they're coming forward. Dark things look like they're going back further. And so we try to make sure that everything that we paint has highlights and lowlights and different shades in there, because if it doesn't, then it's not going to look three-dimensional, and we want it to look three-dimensional. I feel like I want to add another row here. I just hate how this squeezes down to this little tiny, little tiny piece there. It makes you feel a little bit better. Okay, so then what you do is you wipe off your brush completely and you just get some white, okay, a little bit of white. And then you want to go in the centers of some of these. So if it was a bigger piece of corn, these would be a little bit drier. Take the paint a little bit better. Okay, so we go here. Buddy's snoring. Did you see the puppy painting, Rebecca, how it ended up being Buddy?
I did. Didn't you say he was sitting right there?
He was sitting right there. I sketched a different dog in. He was sitting there and he kept looking at me, and so I end up painting his face in the puppy painting.
That's okay. He's a puppy.
It's so funny. He's 12.
All dogs are puppies.
Yeah, it's true. They're still like puppies. These little dogs, they stay like puppies forever. So I don't put real heavy white as I go around, but you can still use some, just a little bit. I didn't grab any more, but the ones you want to look like they're closer is where you want to put a little bit more white. But I do like to pick up just a tiny bit of white on these pieces here and there. Okay. So we have that. All right. We're just going to pile a whole bunch of things onto this. I feel like we could even make this go back a little bit further. I feel like there's too much nothingness here. Put some stuff in there. I need some color. I'm going to put a little bit of brown in here.
It does look three-dimensional, though. Like, it's cool how you can make that happen.
Thank you. Okay, does anybody have any questions on that? I'd spend more time on this on the outside, but I think you have the gist of it. The gist of it. I can't talk. So, do you want to just throw an ornament somewhere around here? You want to do some greenery again? Want to do some greenery?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we have that big pine tree that we're doing in the group soon, too.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. It's in the pot. It's simple, but it's so pretty. I'm going to put one of those in my foyer. Okay, so rake brush. So this is really beat up rake brush because I use it so often. This is a 1/2 inch. In our pack is a 1/4 inch, but we are actually going to add 1/2 inch ones to the store of them because I love their rake brushes. It's not our exact bristle. Like we spent a long time working on what bristle to use for our brushes, which aren't in any other brushes that I've tried because we want a little stiffer bristle that was still soft but would hold up to dry brushing. But this brush, which is with the golden Taklon for their 1/2 inch rake, is really nice. And so I'd rather use the big one than the small one. People in the studio, they'd rather use the small one generally. But I thought we're going to start carrying our own brand of these. But in the meantime, I like this Zen brush. And then we have the smaller ones in our brush pack. Okay. But I tend to like the bigger brushes for the job, for things. Just because it's quicker, you know. All right, so anytime we're doing greenery, a good idea if you're doing pine, painting pine, is to just, it's a little dry there, is just to get, this was dry when I put it on there. I was using the end of a bottle. You want to put a little bit of a stem in there. So any green, this is teal there, which is Viridian, with a touch of white. And then we could put a stem in. I'm using my script liner, okay? And so if you are on a white canvas, you'd add some black to this paint as well, all right? You're just gonna decide like where you're putting your greenery. You want that pretty watered down, okay? Any questions, Rebecca? Maybe put some up here.
Not quite yet. Lucy did ask, could you just start everything over now that she's here?
She's so funny. How are you, Lucy? I love having her around. Like, she's always so funny and pleasant.
It is funny.
I know. Okay, so we're going to get a rake brush. We need to use water with that rake brush, okay? So say I want my pine to be a little, like, blue spruce-ish. I don't know. It's not a word. We're going to use a little bit of our Viridian. I'm going to, since I am on a black canvas, I have to add more white to it so you can see it. That was a little too much white. I like to gray things down a little. There's no black on this plate. Hold on. I'm just going to put the tip of my brush in black on this other plate and put a little in this pile. Sometimes I like to gray it down too. Just depends on the coloring that I'm working on for a certain painting, okay? So what you want to do is you want to go up to your line. You're going to pull down. You're going to lift off. Pull down, lift off. I do think it's too gray. Pull down, lift off. Pull down, lift off. As you come to the end, lift off that way, okay? Since my ankle's weird, I'm going to start on this side, but you're going to lightly put it down. You're going to pull down and lift off as you come towards the center. That's just so I don't have to flip the painting on you, okay? We will be layering this up, so this is like the first thing to do. A lot of times I'll add a little Arctic blue, which is right here for highlight, and then white. Arctic blue you can make very easily with a sky blue, a white, and a little bit of teal as well. Don't ever feel like you need to buy any of the paints that we use. You can mix every one of them, except for like a magenta, like to get the pigment of like a Soho magenta or or a Lucas magenta is hard, like for us to mix. This is easier to turn this way. Sorry about that. So I'm going to lift off and pull out this way. I'd rather you start at the center because it's a little hard to lightly pull in the other way, okay? Rake brush is fabulous for a lot of things. So we made Mrs. Claus's hair with the rake brush. You make hair, fur, feathers, grass you can make with the rake brush, palm tree leaves you can make with the rake brush. You get used to watering down your paint like this and a really light touch, then you will love the rake brush because you can do so many things with it. So you start with your darkest shade, all right, and then you'll work your way up to highlighting, okay? I do turn things like this, like you should see when I'm doing palm leaves, like I turn it the whole time. And sometimes you'll just like see one side of something, and other times you'll do, you know, show both sides, but I'm showing both sides for the view on all of this. Sometimes I'm using the skinny part of the brush. What I do find a lot is that people will just, you know, a lot of people tend to want to press hard, and they'll just make these marks right next to each other, like just line them just like that. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure, let me use a little bit more white, so I don't have to go over it as much later. A little bit more. But you want to make sure that you're kind of overlapping some too. Like you don't want to just space them exactly apart. But what's so important about this is the lifting off, lifting off, lifting off. Are you guys still there?
Yeah. Oh, I love that white. That adds so much dimension to it.
It does. So as we start building it, I'm going to put a couple more in and then we'll build it. Okay. As we start building it, they'll look really three-dimensional. That was a little too watery there. So I just wanted to spread that out right there. We want water, but not too much water.
I gotcha.
You got me. I'm so glad your dogs are friends again.
Yeah, so
I'm layering these up, guys.
Yeah, like, not that this is, you know, the time or place, but since you're asking,
yes.
Yeah, they're good. So the trainer thinks it was just a carryover from the day before, and Sunny was just still ticked off about, you know, being humped by the other dog, my mom's dog.
My God, that's so cute when you said that.
Now, my two are good. I don't know about having my mom's dog here for a little while because he's just an anxious guy and he kind of sets everything.
Oh my gosh, her dog's gotten a really bad fight. You adopted that dog, right?
Yeah. Got Sunny April 1st, and the pound pays for, if needed, like they pay for like an in-home dog trainer.
That's so nice.
And well, I didn't want to take him up on it at first. I was like, no, it's fine, I got it. And now, like after the past incident, I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Probably a good idea. But
I don't blame you.
Yeah, but it's like nothing happened, you know.
That's so good. I'm so glad. Yeah. When you sent me the picture, I was like, oh no.
And it looked worse than what it was. So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So you can layer these up, guys. They don't have to be separate. I'm glad that he's okay though.
Yeah.
He's a cutie. You should come and paint him for the Humane Society fundraiser that we're doing. Isn't he part pit?
Yeah, both of them. Both like half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw it. I'll show you. We do a Humane Society fundraiser every year, and this year they requested us do a painting of. It always has to do with pets. So they wanted a pit bull that it was a Christmas painting, and they said any kind of cat, but a pit bull they wanted the dog to be. And so I'll show you in a second. But I'm just making this really full because I can't just do a couple pieces. It bothers me. So I'm sorry. We'll put some berries in there.
Great.
Thank you. We'll layer it up now. This painting that's right in the middle, I know this looks wonky. I just threw it together really quick so you can see all the new stuff the members are getting so far this month without all the other stuff. but but it's really cute. I actually loved painting it. So I'm going to. The pit bull came together so fast. You know what gave me the yeah. The little tiny cat was the thing. I changed that type of cat like 4 times, blacked it out. And I was like, nope, that's not the cat. Nope, that's not the cat. At first it was like an orange tabby cat and nothing looked right with him. And then, you know, the fluffy cat it was. So I'm getting the Arctic blue, and you don't have to use this. You can use like a little bit of like sky blue. It's kind of like when you do your mountains, one side has a little bit of the blue in there as a highlight, but this is a beautiful highlight. So we're going to really start making things looking 3-dimensional. We can leave some things dark behind it. Like you don't have to brighten everything, you know, you want to brighten the things that the light would be hitting more. And then, so when we do this, we'll have one more step where we'll take a little bit of watered down white and we'll add, another highlight, just one more, but you don't have to do everything, just pick and choose. When you're highlighting, it's the lightest touch, and if you feel like you did too much, like I feel like this area is kind of like all run together, so what I'll do is I'll come back with a little bit of black and I'll separate it out. So I want you to know with acrylic painting, every single thing is fixable. I tell everybody that everything is fixable because you can take your paint towel and you can wipe anything off. You can change anything. So if it's a little damp or even if it's dry for a little bit, you put a little water in there, it'll generally, you know, wipe off. If you can't wipe it off, acrylic painting, you can paint right over it. Don't ever feel like you can't change anything. Always feel free to like try something new too. Like don't feel like you're gonna ruin your painting by trying something, you know? That's the fun of it. I love to try new things. So try not to get like anxious. Right here, I know that's a little heavy right there, and I'll come through with my black. Not worrying about it at all. We can go really quickly through there and it'll clean up so easy. Do you want to get one more Casey Cash anyway? I mean, we'll probably,
give me one second.
do another at the end.
Yeah.
I catch you off guard.
No, always. But.
Always. Okay, so when you have that in, you can always go back. Let me go to the plate with some black. And this is how you can easily clean stuff up. Well, you can do it with your script liner too. I'll show you how to go down the middle of them with your script liner.
Priscilla said she lost connection. Are you using the rake brush still?
I am. Yeah. Hi, Priscilla. How are you? But if you needed to put a little bit of black back in, you could. It's no big deal. Like to just go and separate things like right here when it runs together, you can do that. Then you can get your script liner. Grab that out of here. First of what I do with the script liner is I do low lights first and then I'll do highlights, you know. So say I want to get like the stem to the piece of pine back in again. So first I would go in with a little bit of black and I would pull it through. Okay, and then if you need anything separated that you like had any trouble with your rake brush, you can then do it with your script liner. Okay, then what you want to do is get a little bit of white, tiny bit of water. Okay, and then you can go through and you can make things a little bit brighter if you wanted to. Okay, so
for winners, I've got Diane Richards.
Congratulations, Diane. How are you?
And Teresa Lee.
Teresa, congratulations. Let us know if you need me to put the app back up again since I'm like painting away. So you want to go like this, and then I'll show you how to add a few berries to it, okay? But you could use all different greens. Like I have more like of a blue spruce kind of color. I would also probably fill this in a lot more. It does bother me, I have to tell you, not to paint a full painting. Like to just do pieces. Like I like to paint a full painting.
Yeah, you don't do that very often.
Yeah, it bothers me. Yeah, I feel like I want to just keep going. So if you wanted to add you know, let's add some berries like here. Say you don't like to go around stuff like me and you wanted to like put some holly in here. You could, you know, you could put it in black first and then when it dries, then we could, you know, that would really pop. You can do that too. So if you put this in black, you can have like a piece hanging down through here. It could be on top of everything. I don't know if this will dry very quick for you to see me paint it. What's the matter?
Yeah, black.
Yeah, with the black. You guys probably can't see that very well. But let me show you. So
it's got a little glare on it, but.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm going to go here. Let's show you how to do it. So, you know, something dry. It's black, okay? I'm in a hot flash. So then I can show you how to do this. Okay, so once again, I would get the little filbert brush, all right? I would get that. And let's go to our red. I would start with red with a little bit of orange because it's a little transparent on a black canvas also. Like we build up a lot of red trucks on black canvases, and if you just start with just plain red, it'll take a little while, all right? So we're gonna go here. And what we're gonna do as we build this is we want a little bit brighter on the top, a little bit darker on the bottom, because even the berries we want to be three-dimensional, okay? It'll take a moment for that to dry. So I'm gonna set that brush off to the side. If I know it's not gonna be out for a really long time, I'll set it off to the side, especially if I'm working with something with red like that. And then I'll just grab another one. I like to have multiple of the same brushes, but this is a good brush too. This or a round brush or a very small flat brush. And we can put in, I'll get some this way. So we can put in some of the holly, okay? So I don't use teal too much with the holly. You want a little bit brighter. So say this is the top of the painting, okay? I would start there because it's always brighter. Use a little bit of paint, all right? Just a little bit. You can do this with a 1/2-inch flat brush too, which is generally what I would prefer, but most people probably wouldn't. So I'm just going to scuff this in. I'm going to leave a little bit of black in the middle because you want your eye to think that that's going to, like, that folds in there. So by leaving that darkness right there, that'll make your eye think that, okay? So sap green or white again. Just see how little paint I'm using? Tiny, tiny bit. Okay, so right here's the brightest. You guys are quiet tonight.
Well, Kathy just said, I like the look of these pine cones.
I would love that.
And Becky said, I love holly and berries.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad you guys are on.
I missed this original comment, but Carla said, I can't believe out of the hundreds of brushes I have here in my room, I don't have a rake brush.
Oh, and no. We have a video.
Lucy said, lucky you, she has a reel up on how to make your own.
I do. So I can post that in the comments. Is that someone that's in the membership or not in the membership? Because if they're in the membership, it also...
I don't know.
Okay. So I'll put it in
Carla Weaver.
She is in the membership, I believe. So I'm pretty sure. We have a lot of Carlas, so I have to try to think of last names. And so it's under technique tutorials, but also just put in rake and it'll bring up anything that has to do with a rake and it'll show you how to cut a rake brush. But I'll put it in the comments too so everybody can look at it. But do you see, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Do you see how I'm leaving a little bit of darkness in the middle? It just helps with, like, you know, when you go to put the, you know, if you wanted to put veins in there, things like that, you already have a little bit of darkness. Then I'm going to get...
Yes, said she's in there now.
Okay, that's what I thought. But if you need help finding it, just let us know. So a little bit of white, and then I bring it in, I just scuff just a little bit. Just put a little highlight because we're thinking like this is the top, okay, on the right side here, okay? And we want the light to be hitting there. So just a little bit of paint, a little bit of pressure. Okay.
Which brush did you use for the corn husk again? Karen Reardon said she missed that, but she loves this tutorial.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thanks for joining us, Karen. It is the 1/2 inch flat brush.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so just a little bit of brightness. I think it would catch like this bottom half a little bit more. Okay. And generally when I have something like this, like you can think like, do I want to add, if it's something that's like, I don't think needs a lot of detail to it, I might just put a little bit of a white line through the center, but I'll show you how to do like some small veins in there if you want to do. I'm going to get a little bit more of our orange and our red. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little bit, I'm going to get a little bit of white too, just because we don't have a lot of time for things to dry in between stuff. So I'm going to get a little bit of white, make it a little bit brighter here. And I usually do like this half circle, like around the berries, and I'll go through, say I have like, 5 sets of berries. I'll do all that quickly, and then I come back and I blend it out with just a little bit of red and take my pressure off as I come up here. And that way...
You're using very little paint when using a rake brush?
Yes, it's actually more water than paint. Yep. More water than paint. So make sure you're watering it down. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit brighter up here. Generally, there's a little bit more drying time in between. Okay. But
Diana asked, won't the white turn the red pink?
So I have white, quite a bit of white in there. I'll show you up close. Okay. And it doesn't, if you use a lot of white with the red, it can, but right around, that top edge, I don't think it makes the berries look pink. I often add white to the red to highlight. Okay, so with that, and then what I'll do is I'll get my strip liner. You can make it pink. You can definitely, like if you're working on a red truck, make it look pink. It can happen. But if you start seeing that happen, just add more red to it. And I always mix like small piles of paint too. I don't mix like large piles of paint. I need the black on here. So if you left the black in the center, that's great. But you can also still like put your line through here. And then what I do is I make little Y's through here, little Y's, not
Kathy said, I'm not thrilled with the marks my rake brush makes. I may have to do some cutting on it.
So yes, I always trim my rake brushes, always. Even when they come cut, I always trim them. That one that I'm using right now, I cut it up. I always do that. And do I have scissors sitting right here? No. I was going to say, you just take the tip of the scissors and you can take a filbert brush or a flat brush and just snip the ends at an angle. And like I said, I'll put the video though in the comments, okay? So
I've been putting it in, like the people who commented about it, I've been replying with the video.
Oh, you have it up from Searchy. Awesome.
Yes.
You are the woman. Thank you.
Yeah, I figured,
Yeah, thank you.
I'll put a little extra effort.
Yeah, you're also prepared. That's awesome. So guys, when you add this little bit of white, this is the script line. Look how flat it can get. Super, super flat, okay? When you have a little bit of white, you're just going to go like right above that. Barely touch it. I actually need a tiny bit more water. I don't want to press hard at all. You need some water. All right, flatten it down. And then you don't have to touch everything, but I would, a couple of pieces, lightest touch. Also, what you want to do is catch the edge of what's facing up or what's sitting, the light's hitting a little bit more. See how that's brighter there. But when the other side is darker, you still have to show your eye where that starts and stops. Like you can't just have that fade away into the black where you can't see. So you need like a very, very slight, edge on there. Where this side you make a little brighter because it's facing, the light, okay? Down here, you're seeing chalk right now, but just very lightly, okay? And so these are just easy ways to make your painting look three-dimensional by doing like little tiny things like that. So I'm going to go here, a little bit of white on my black, a little bit of white on my Y's. And so at a glance, when you have, these highlights and lowlights, then your painting's going to look, a little bit more real.
Now, does the stitching from the canvas, how that shows through, does that bother you? I don't know if that's just on the screen.
It's because I'm so zoomed in. I'm zoomed in like
Okay.
super close. Now, that does bother some people. We talk about ever since COVID, every single one of our suppliers and manufacturers, and you guys have probably seen this if you paint, every single canvas is dryer. They're gessoing them with some sort of different formula, I swear. They're all dryer, every single one. And so you can combat that by using a retarder, which is like a 6-to-1 ratio. I'll grab the one that I have, but we dry brush a lot, so I don't pull it in too often. But I also put like little parentheses on our holly. Let me get the retarder really quick so you can see it. And I'll show you how to use it. Because if you are actually making something with really fine marks though, like say I'm making feathers, okay, on a bird, and you're on a really dry canvas, you do want to use a little retarder. And it also helps like keep your paint open a little bit. So this is it. This is a golden product. Let me zoom out a little. This is a golden product, okay? And so what you do with it, let me get a round brush. So you only put like, this bottle will last me like 10 years because I don't use a lot. And when you use it, you're just putting like a tiny bit on your plate like that because it's a 6-to-1 ratio. So I don't ever measure it, which probably could. But say I'm using, that's dry there, but say I'm going to use this here. I'm going to pull in like the slightest amount of that, and that will allow it to go on my canvas like nice and smooth, I picked a dark color so you can't see it. Let me get a little white with that. And so say I have my white here, so I'll pull in a little bit of the retarder with that. And what's nice about it, so the reason why it works better than water or something else is it keeps the color fastness, like you keep your color with it. But it'll go in and it'll make a much better edge. Do you see how you don't see the dryness as much? So if I wanted this not to be as patchy, I can go in with the retarder with the white and make a nicer edge with that. So I'm glad you brought that up, Rebecca, because it is a nice thing to have on hand. Let me turn this back this way. Let me turn this light off. But does anybody have any questions? I always feel like blind after the big light goes off.
Just enjoying the painting,
Yay, I'm so glad. I have the
Sunday night action.
Yeah. Listen, it doesn't feel like a Sunday. I don't know why. Oh, it's almost 10 o'clock. We stayed on a long time.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. Thanks, Rebecca, for hanging with us. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on. It's always fun. I tell Rebecca, like, I love to paint online with you guys. It's always so much fun. If using a pre-gessoed black canvas, how can you correct a mistake since black paint won't match the gesso to paint over? That's a great question, Kathy. So I tell everybody when we're using a black canvas that's already painted black, that they need to, if they get their hand paint or they do anything that they don't like, take your paint towel. We use these paint towels. We get them from Amazon. And we rewash them over and over again. They work really well, especially to scrub things off. Just put some water in here and scrub it off. Even when I'm scrubbing things, I'm lifting off. In case it leaves a mark, I want to lift off. You can match something with very thin paint, like, and blend it together. But I would try to get it off because blacks rarely match. Oh, you guys, you're welcome. Oh, I'm glad you love the thankful painting. I'm filming that tonight. So that's what I'm going to film as soon as we get off. I'll be done late.
I was going to say, burning the midnight oil.
Yeah, for sure. I'm always, listen, our whole group knows I put paintings in there at 2 o'clock in the morning all the time, don't I, Rebecca?
You do.
All the time. Sometimes 3 o'clock. And believe it or not, I'm not the only one up. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of people we talk like late.
I'm a late girl too. That's
yeah,
I have the studio for like 11.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm still up at the crack of dawn. I don't know. One day I'll catch up on my sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad, Gretchen. How are you? You're very welcome. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Debbie. Thank you. Hi, Deborah Wolf. How are you? Oh, thank you. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you need anything at all, you can always email us. There's our email address. Okay. If you want to find all the ways to paint with us, you can go to kckhq.com. If you want to do our Mrs. Claus workshop and get our whole vault, you just put in coupon code KCKHQ19. Those are the new paintings coming all within the next week or two. And so I'm filming like a mad lady this next week. Huh, Rebecca?
Cool.
There's lots coming. I'm really inspired this time of year, so there's a lot of things coming. Thanks, Julie, for joining us. Thanks, Sandy. Thanks, Lori. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks, guys. And if you're watching the replay later, say where you're from and say hello. And thank you so much. Have a nice night, guys. Very nice night. Thanks, ladies. I appreciate it. Thanks, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Bye.